Good evening, everyone, and thank you very much for this opportunity. I'll keep it short and simple because we have one more session and then there is tea, so I'll not take much of everyone's time. I'll quickly cover 2-3 aspects from customer expectation perspective. One is what has changed over the last few years, with COVID also being an important event in everyone's life. The second one is obviously the change which this particular change has brought from a technology perspective. So it's important to understand that it's not just customer behavior that has changed. It's also important to understand that even the technology, the engineering aspects have also changed with these events. And the third obviously is the role which we as leaders have to play to manage the customer expectation. To begin with, I can give you a lot of examples primarily because of the scale at which SBI operates. Okay, few statistics. If I count the number of SIFs that SBI has got, I am the third largest country in this world. So there is China, there is India, and then there is State Bank of India at 55 crore SIFs. And after that is United States at 33 crores. If I go by the number of users who are registered in YONO, then it is obviously 5 crores, which is close to the population of Italy. The number of users who use YONO on any average day is equivalent to the population of Spain. Okay, and on 2nd of April, on 2022, the number of users who used YONO was 2.13 crores. That is entire Sri Lanka logging into YONO. So this is the scale at which State Bank of India operates. And this scale doesn't come from a certain set of users. It comes across the full bandwidth of the set of people that we have got. So what makes State Bank of India unique is because it is not just the earlier customers that we have got, it is also the new millennials or the generation X and the Ys that we are bringing. So which brings me to the very first point, that is what is the change in behavior that has been seen over the last few years. Prior to people who are born prior to 1980s, their behavior is if a service is not delivered that day, they come the next day. Okay, they don't complain much. They'll come the next day. They'll come again and again till the point their service gets delivered. You cut that to the people who are born after the year 2000 and 2010, the service has to be delivered that way. I mean, there is no way out of it. It has to be delivered, and in the event that that service is not up to the expectation, I'm telling you, it is not about delivery of the service, it is delivering to the expectation of that particular person. They want an avenue to give you a feedback. It doesn't end there. The feedback has to be replied back. Okay, so you see, this complete chain has to be addressed if you are addressing a person who's born after the year 2000. This is not the case for the people who are born prior to 1970s or 1980s, which is most of us here in this room. Okay, so this is one of the biggest change that we are seeing in the behavior of the customers. Now coming to the second aspect because of this behavior. Now what exactly has happened because of this behavioral change is people who are technologists, like people who are all sitting in this particular room, they had to completely rechange the way the architecture of applications are designed, right? Just go 10 years back. How would you design an application? You have a core banking application, you have a retail banking application. It's okay that most of the communication happens at the end of the day because of a bad job. It's fine. You open up an FD, you go to the branch, you open up an FD, and the common statement given is, wait karo ek din ke liye, kal aapko internet banking mein dikh jayega. Try giving this statement today to anyone who opens up an FD, even if that person is born before 1970s. He will not agree to it. He will threaten you to change the banking system itself, correct? So this is one change which had to be done. So we as technologists, we had to rewrite and rethink how we deploy technology. 10 years back, we would only talk about APIs, saying that, okay, core banking say, let us create an API so that retail banking and core banking are referring to the common source of data. But now as we speak, it is no longer about just creating an API to cater to retail banking. You have to now cater to that feedback loop. So this particular information has to be available on the communication channels like the contact center. This information has to be available on the chat group. This information has to be available on the retail banking. This information also has to be available on the mobile banking. So our entire API design philosophy has changed. Okay? So I touched upon 2 points. First point is the behavior of people who were born prior to 2000 and after 2000. And because of this change, how exactly we as technologists had to rewrite this entire concept of designing the systems and the architecture. The third point which I would want to stress upon, and it is very important that all of us pay attention to this, is unfortunately the requirements of the millennials, okay, I'm stammering over here, is decided by people who are greater than 40 years of age. Okay, so all of us sitting here in the room decide that a person who is just graduating out of college, what is the service that we should be rendering to him. So that's where I think each one of us has to understand that we'll not get young, okay? We are only going to get older with every passing day. It's important for us to become young at heart and young at mind. We have to listen to them. We have to understand what exactly they want. And then we start throwing jargons like Kubernetes and cloud native and AI ML to each other. So these three aspects are the most important point as far as the transformation in banking is concerned. I have got many more examples to keep talking about because each one of them is an experience by itself, at least at State Bank of India. I'm happy to share this off stage later on in terms of the kind of engineering effort and all which was put into see to it that YONO caters to the capacity that we are handling right now and what all transformational journeys we had taken. But these are broadly the 3 points which I wanted to highlight as part of my talk to you all. Thank you very much for your time and patience.